Look, we always need to dream big. We always can achieve the impossible. So you need to have a purpose why you are living, why you existing in the planet, why you doing that, or whatever that reason is. But if you don't really believe in that reason why you are doing it, you cannot get through it. You can get through like smaller competitions and all that, but the purpose that you have, you really need to believe in.
Welcome to the Hard Way podcast with Joe Sena, founder and CEO of Spartan Races. We're teaching you how to overcome your obstacles in your life the same way we teach our 10 million plus Spartans to overcome obstacles on the course, with insight from the smartest, most accomplished experts from every corner of the world. Get ready to elevate your life today.
Joe Sena here, CEO and founder of Spartan and host of the Hard Way podcast. Got my buddy Nims Purja on. If you don't know him, you've been living under a mountain, literally. This guy is the mountaineer of the stars. He's been showcased in all kinds of documentaries, books, etc. He's world record breaker, special forces, a Gurkha. You're an overall badass Spartan. Welcome aboard.
Thank you, Joe, and it's great to see you today. So yeah, lovely to meet you.
Look, you're breaking all kinds of records. You're doing things that are not humanly possible. Where'd you come from? Are you human?
Yes, Joe. I was born in Nepal in a really, flat and really warm part of the Nepal. And yeah, I grew up in a really humbling family. At the age of 18, I decided to join the Gurkhas in British military, just to, explain a bit of, stuff on Gurkhas, those who doesn't know. Gurkhas are the specific, soldiers from Nepal, and it's only of its one kind in the British military that who are allowed to join in British army. So in my time, 33,000 young men between age 18 to 21 applied, and out of 33,000 or 32,000, only 230 made it. So yeah, so I'm just a humble guy. If you in short, when I say Nims, explain me who you are, I say, okay, I'm Nims. I was born in Nepal and I was raised in the Gurkhas, but I was made in the UK Special Forces. So yeah.
I want my kids to be Gurkhas. I mean, for those of you that don't, explain to everybody that a Gurkha is beyond what we know in traditional militaries in the Allied forces. Like tell people what a Gurkha is.
Look, we are known for being the most brave, most loyal, and then the most fearful fighter in the planet. And we have got such a rich history, legacy, in terms of fighting alongside with the British military since now it's more than 215 years. So yeah,
215 years, and then you joined the British military.
Yes, I joined in 2003, Joe.
Easy compared to being a Gurkha?
No, I think it was tough, and the same thing, So like, as I said, it's just not only you have to be physically fit, but you also need to be mentally fit. And the selection happens once a year in Nepal, and the recruitment process is so tough that, as I said, out of 32 and 33,000 people, only 230 people make it. So
sounds like our death race that we put on every year. Look, we've got a community of 15 million Spartans around the globe. And our message is to toughen up, to be more resilient, to be more Gurkha and less Barbie. And so my question for you would be, how does a regular person living on a regular couch, watching Netflix, eating donuts, how do they level up? How do they get a little Gurkha in their life, a little Spartan in their life? What do you suggest?
Look, we always need to dream big, right? We always can achieve the impossible. But in order to there's no point just having a big dream and all that, and you don't have a purpose, So you need to have a purpose why you are living, why you existing in the planet, why are you doing that. So for example, when I announced my project, the 14 Peaks, Nothing is Impossible, even the Red Bull called me out by saying that, oh, Nims, your project is like, you saying that I'm going to swim to the moon. How is that possible? So, we don't believe in this. So that's why they didn't sponsor me, So yes, you good too. But, my purpose was very clear. Yes, I had an amazing goal that the world thought at that point was just impossible, but I had the purpose, which was to raise the name of the Nepalese climbers and also show the world that literally nothing is impossible. Two parallel purpose made me to go and do things, I had served 16 years in the British military. I had only 6 years to get the full pension. That's a lot for, specifically, for, people like me, a Gurkha who was born in a literally so humbling family in Nepal. I grew up in a, just where we used to live and sleep just under the roof of the chicken farm, so from that to all these things, and when I sacrificed that pension, my career within the UK Special Forces. So for those guys, who doesn't know the what UK Special Forces I was in SBS, and that is the equivalent to SEAL Team 6 in USA. So to leave all that, then sell my house and go and do this project that basically, everybody thought that it's not possible. Yes, it's that, but I had the purpose that I really believed in. I felt like the Sherpas are, has always been the frontier of the 8,000 meters, the big mountains, but they never got the justice that they deserve. And equally, if a guy who was born in little village of Nepal, who pretty much grew up nothing, can achieve this. So I wanted to show those two purposes, and that really meant a lot to me, Joe. So hence why I think the big message that I can give out to there is, do not be scared to dream big. And the first thing is, yes, you need to have a purpose, but you need to commit. There's no point having all these things, okay, I'll give you my own example. I talk about this project and everything. So if I had only talked about it, I wouldn't be where I am today. But my commitment steps were many levels. Okay, first one, I resigned from my career. The second commitment, I sold my house. Third, I went for it. I went full on. So you need to commit in everything, So yeah.
You gotta have a purpose. You gotta have a why. I agree with that 1000%. And then you've got to commit, but you've got to commit where everything is on the line. What's the biggest obstacle you face? Was it where you grew up? Was it one of the mountain climbs? What is the biggest obstacle you face, and how'd you get through it? Because maybe we could learn something there for our own lives.
Look, Joe, I think one of the biggest obstacles that I have faced in my whole entire life, and specifically on the mountains, is I had so many incidents where, you put your life at risk, and then you go and rescue some people, who was left by their team members, who are left by their guides and all that. And for me, I'm being very specific here on the story of Kanchenjunga. It's the world third highest mountain. I was on this mountain literally from Dhaulagiri, where I hadn't slept for days, and I was on the summit push, straight summit push. So what happened on this mountain is, for those people who haven't read my book or haven't seen the movie, literally 50 meters below, I found the climber that was left behind by, his guides, his team members, and everybody else. So, we give him our oxygen and started the rescue. Then 100 meters below, we find another, climber who's left by his team. We gave again more oxygen to that guy, and now, if you imagine that you are climbing with oxygen, but then you give your oxygen to somebody, for many, pretty much 99.9% of the world of people, it's like suicidal. But I know what my body was capable of. But what happened on that incident was, Joe, people, when I seek for the help, as soon as I meet these guys, there were so many people, perhaps around 50 climbers at Camp 4, and they said that they're gonna come and help me. And what happened was they never turn up, and that was a really kind of big betrayal to me, because they were literally at Camp 4, and their team members, to everybody who were there, like, they said that they're gonna come. And when they said they're gonna come, that means I'm not on reserve. I'm giving 100%, thinking like this guy's gonna come and take over from me. Like, same thing on military, right? And then because of that, these people, died on my arms. And out of three people we tried to rescue, only one survived. And when you give so much, you put your life on the risk, and then because of there is like that next level of betrayal and lies and all that, I think that's what it hurt me the most. And to get out of that hurt and that emotional barrier was really tough for me, Joe.
Yeah, that's a tough. I guess no one will come and save you, right? Even when you can't, you got to depend on yourself in life. But that. Well, I guess being a Gurkha, being British, part of the British Army, you do cover for each other. You do help each other. So I guess you had that expectation.
Yeah, that's what that was my expectation. And worst thing, okay, if you don't want to come, you don't come, but don't like people on that, extremely, death zone and extreme environment, because that's not cool. And because when I'm talking right now it's okay, but then when you actually go through the emotions where you are putting everything on the line to do all these rescues and everything, and yeah, it just I think to come out of that, that's the hardest thing that I have not been able to understand still now.
You got through it anyway. You did it on your own. You got past the betrayal. What's the biggest mindset shift that occurred through this journey? Like we all think one way, and then you go through something impossible. You come out the other. What's the mindset shift you experienced?
The whole mindset was all about, I had the purpose that I truly believe in, right? So, look, as I said, so many people might say, okay, I'm going to do this for this. I'm going to do this, let's say 100 kilometer or 1,000 kilometer race for this reason, and or whatever that reason is. But if you don't really believe in that reason why you are doing it, you cannot get through it. You can get through like smaller competitions and all that, but the purpose that you have, you really need to believe in. And I think my purpose was not about me at all. It was for those people that really matters to me, and I believed in it. And then when I say, of course I was as you break down, Joe, and like I remember specifically in Kanchenjunga, we're climbing and I haven't slept for days, so I would fall asleep. So what I used to do was I get the snow and then put under my like armpit under the summit suit so I could stay awake, because like it was tough. But then and that would work for like half an hour. You're still awake, and after that you still fall asleep, because you are going non-stop on the summit cruise. You haven't slept for days. It's fatiguing. And then you start thinking, Nims, you said that you represent the UK Special Forces, the Gurkhas. What rights do you have to spoil their name? And you start breaking down, and then that probably give you energy for another half an hour, and then you have to think again of something else. So it literally kind of breaking down each phase, even though yes, then once you finish all that, then you go again back to the big purpose why you are doing it. So it's kind of repeating those things that matters to you. And then yeah,
What's next?
so the next is I just announced this project, which is the hat trick summits of 14 8,000 meter peaks and the 7 summits. That means the highest mountain of each continent, 7 summits. And the reason why I'm doing is it's with the biggest give back. It's 100% give back. I'm aiming to raise over £1 million for the Nims Foundation. For example, the foundation does so many good things, right at the very far end of the things that, that matter to me. If, one of the Sherpa dies on the mountain and he has children, the foundation, send them to school until they get graduate. For example, the guiding industry have been there for 70 years, Joe, right? And everybody keeps saying porters are the backbone of the mountaineering, but everybody's talking only talk. You need to do action. So for example, when everybody trek in Nepal to Everest base camp, they go through the village called Lobuse. It's the second last village before you reach the Everest base camp. But when you get to that village in Lobuse, there is no accommodation for the porters. The porters has to go back down to the village that they hike in the morning. And I feel like that's more than money and all that. It's like humiliating people that matters the most. So we just making those porter house, which is gonna cost nearly $500,000. And when there was a flood in Pakistan on the mountain community, we have more than 10,000 people out there. We also do the big mountain cleanup project because not everybody can go and clean on K2, Everest, and all this 8,000 meter peaks. So we have been doing that on a regular basis, and it doesn't come with just the easy. You need to, of course, pay the Sherpas because, they are there to make the living and all that. So yeah, we've been doing some incredible stuff right at the, front face of everything that matter to us. So yeah, I just wanted to raise that fund to do those things. That's for the community. So yeah, that's the biggest project.
I love it. I love it. You've always got to have purpose on your calendar. All right. Last question. 3 things that you would tell the audience to do in their life. I know we spoke about purpose. I know we spoke about commitment. Give people 3 things that they should do in their life to kind of level up and climb climb the mountain in their life, achieve success in their life?
Yeah, look, we all human has got our own talent. We're born with some talents, and it takes sometimes quite a while to recognize that. I think the big thing is you need to be self-disciplined. Discipline is not good enough. Discipline and self-discipline, the difference is, let's say you are going to do sujitsu or you're going to school, and if your coach and your teacher is asking you to do something, you are doing it. That is discipline. But self discipline is you having to do those things, rock up in that time and all that by yourself without anybody telling you. That's the difference between discipline and self discipline. You got to be self motivated. How many of you are going to just listen to this podcast and then probably get hyped up for a week and then, get self motivated, try to find the purpose that matters to you. And the final one is persistence, consistency. You cannot do these things, for a day, 1 week, 1 month, do it for a year and then you will see the big result. So those.
Yeah, I agree I especially agree with the last one, especially with my kids. It's every day for 10 years before
Yeah.
you see results. People expect overnight success, but Spartan is a 25-year-old overnight success. But we had to work for 25 years, For people that don't know, three craziest things you've ever done. K2 with no oxygen. Explain that to the folks listening.
So, all right. So there are 14 8,000-meter peaks in the world. All the 13 of them were climbed in winter, and that was all climbed by our Western and European friends. Nepal, though we claim as we are the best on 1,000 meters, we never had any name to any winter essence. So I was the expert leader on K2 Winter in 2021. And the story is so unique and so crazy because I planned this expedition in such a way that 10 Nepalese climbers summited together, hugging each other, singing the national anthem of Nepal, where all the success were distributed or shared equally amongst the team. Name, glory, fame, you name it. That was a unique, and also I led that whole expeditions without supplemental oxygen. So yeah.
You hold the record for 14 peaks, tallest peaks in the world without oxygen.
Yes, correct. So, when I did the 14 picks, out of a sudden, all this, Western climbers started to criticize and all that. And yeah, I know that, as I said from day one, when I finished the 14 picks in 6 months, 6 days, I said that, look, if I have to do this now, I can do this in 3 months, less than 3 months without oxygen. But for me, it's what's going to be repetitive. So what I did was, I have my own guiding company. So as I was leading and guiding the expeditions, I had an opportunity to climb all these 14 peaks without oxygen while guiding and leading. So yeah, it was kind of like not pushing so much, but taking the advantage of the situation where I have to guide anyway, but still breaking those records. So yeah, now I have got more than dozens of world records, Joe. So but I think one of the most impressive, or the cool one is perhaps just climbing the big 8,000-meter peak of Pakistan in 26 days without oxygen while leading and guiding the whole expedition. I think that is the cool one, and that gives a testimony to what I was saying earlier. Like if I have to break this record without oxygen, all 14, I could do that in less than 3 months. So if I could do the big five, which is the hardest 8,000-meter peak in the world, and that's in Pakistan. If I could do that in 26 days, rest of them are easy. So yeah. And also big thing is rescue, so the big thing is, wherever I have been, I have got the record for the world highest rescue, which I did on Everest, at the South Summit, and all those rescues, I've never charged anybody money. Almost everybody charged the money on this kind of stuff. So I haven't taken any penny of the rescues I have done, and most of the rescues, 99.9% of the rescues I have done are from the members of other guiding company or other team members and all that. So I think that's one thing that I'm really proud of.
Yeah, I would say of all the things you've done, being there on the mountain to go rescue people and save their lives, that through no gain of your own, just doing the right thing as a human being, that's awesome. I got to be honest with you, it's almost a little boring because you're so damn good. You make it too easy.
Yeah. So I think what we need to do now is, get, Elon Musk to send me to the Mars to climb Mount Olympus. Can somebody do that? Can you get the message to him, perhaps?
Dana White tonight. I'm going to talk to him, see if he could talk to Musk and get you on Mars.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, please, Joe.
Thank you, sir.